Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Innkeeper, and today we're playing some Timber and Stone, Land of Islay Season 3. Last episode, or should I say last live stream, we completed the Stonemasons Guild. As you can see right here, this very giant lump of industry that's right next to the castle. I quite like the fact that it's still quite a large building, but yet it's still sort of overshadowed by the enormity of this castle right here, which is pretty fantastic. It didn't end up the way I wanted it to be honest with you. I wanted the middle to be a lot lower down, but it just ended up being a giant cube because I just couldn't put my head around how to actually construct this thing. But there you go. That's about 4 hours of effort right there. So it's going to take us a long time to get all of the remaining structures done in today's series. I said today's series, in the series. I mean, look how much there is to do. It's ridiculous. We still got the blacksmiths. We still got the Fletchers. The Fletchers, right there. I still think that's some sort of family show of some form. The Fletchers. Just a bunch of twats, but they're called the Fletchers. I don't know. It's probably like whatever that show is about family. Anyway, I can't remember now. And then a bunch of other random buildings, including the Carpenters, which is probably going to be over here, because this sort of needs a lot more going on right now. It's quite ugly. It's quite a bit of a mess because of this sort of chunk of land that we're not really doing anything with. We also completed this wall right here. I didn't do this in the live stream. I pretty much just played for an hour before I started recording today. Just to get a few things done I said I would sort of do in the live stream, but didn't really get around to doing. I actually said I would complete all the walls in the live stream, but I only completed this one because of the resources that we currently have. They're not exactly fantastic. Probably the walls themselves are going to be just things that I do over time, and maybe every now and again we do a little bit of it while recording. It's sort of like a random thing where we don't need to really worry about it too much. It's just an aesthetical quality right there. I wanted to create the Stonemasons, and actually, well, Stonemasons Guild, and actually, the Stonemasons Guild seems to be a lot more productive as well, which is quite interesting. Now we have all of our stonemasons there waiting around their bedding area while also sitting down on their chairs and tables. It reminds me, we need to get probably... Should we get one outside? Well, actually, there's no thin table, so maybe not. But then again, we have like a bunch of chairs out there so we know where they are. That might be a good idea. We also have a bunch of these fireplaces. They're impractical, but they make it look a little bit more industrialized. Just, you can look at it right there and you think, okay, that's a building that's used for some particular purpose. Not just, you know, to chill out in. Someone said it looked a little bit like a tavern. Yeah, I suppose, but, well, this was before we actually put the fireplaces in. Actually, I think it was before the big chunk at the top as well. It's weird, but yeah. Hopefully, it's going to be significantly taller than the buildings themselves, like all the living areas. That's why I think I'm actually alright with it being so big. But there you go. We also have a nice little area at the bottom right here where they can actually work, and they seem to be a lot more productive. They get their jobs done very quickly, and we have also cleared this part up. I just wanted to get rid of some stone and some dirt so I can replace them with our grass. So we can have a proper courtyard. We still need to move this bit. We'll get around to doing that at some point. Maybe in today's playthrough. Just get rid of those. Now, I really want to make some housing, to be honest with you. I want to get some proper housing done along this chunk of land that we have right here. I can't see us having any more special buildings around this area that we have. So I really want to have a sort of town feeling start to slowly approach. Well, I say approach, but slowly start to construct itself. And I think that would be a good idea. And I always think it's a good idea to build some sort of random buildings around the main structures, just to make it seem a little bit more busy. So I'm thinking sort of this area right here, and approaching upwards, we can actually create some proper housing for the stonemasons, but also just for any random people that want to actually have those houses allocated. Now, we do have 3 more people there we need to actually get around to naming. I just need to find them first. I actually got 1 extra person during the construction of the wall before I actually started recording today. But we also got 2 people on the live stream. So if we can find them. They're usually fairly easy to find. There we go. You got Wade. Actually, no. Wade Dryden sounds very familiar to me. Wade. I can't see a Wade. So it might not be the case. Unless it was the fact... Oh no, he's a level 20 stonemason. Okay, so he's been with us for a little while. This guy seems new. It's really hard to see who we've actually got. And I want to record naming them, because it just makes sense. He's not on the list. I mean, he doesn't sound... It looks like a name that someone has requested, though. That's the problem. Got Marjorie right there. Yeah, that's definitely a new person. Yeah, okay, that was the person that we got a second ago. So let's see. 2 people want to be archers. We've got Carl White and Lucas Hell right there. I'm probably going to have Carl be the archer. Sorry, Lucas. But I don't think Carl's been on the series before. So I feel like we should give him the space. I could be wrong there. He hasn't requested to be anything but an archer. So there you go, Carl. You can be the archer. Then again, I mean, do you want to be a female character? Maybe that's the problem right there. Maybe we need to quickly look for someone else. Tell you what, though. We'll go ahead and have a Wolfie be the... Or Moore right there. There we go. I like that. Moore. I think that's how you... Is that Moore? Yeah, like that. So we got Moore. You're currently a lumberjack that didn't request to be anything else. Let's go back here. And I think this person at the bottom isn't really... It doesn't belong to anyone. Look at the stats. They're fairly new. Although they were turned into a miner, and they are a level 6 builder. So maybe they've been with us for a little while. Well, no. It's been a little while since we actually got any new people. So something tells me they are just completely new. I'm not too sure. You're going to have to respond in the comments, I'm afraid, because I can't... You're not on the list for some reason. Maybe this was a live stream thing. I do apologize. However, we're going to turn you into Carl White, who is going to be the new archer of our land. We haven't got an archer, so I think it's a good idea to get one. So we've got our Carl White. There we go. I'm very excited. I'm getting very excited to actually construct the houses today. Let's, there's no way we're going to actually construct the houses today. I'm just going to say that right now. It's an impossibility. This took 4 hours, so building a bunch of new houses is going to be nonsense. It's nonsensical to think we'll get that done in a 1 hour and 30-minute session. I sound very excited today. I do apologize. I'm like tripping over my words, trying to get all the words out as quickly as I possibly can. It's just I'm very excited, okay? I just want to see some of the base layers of the houses constructed and actually see what this town is going to start looking like. It's very good right now. This is sort of like a mini quarry. I'm not too sure if... I think I'm not going to have a quarry there. I think I'm going to turn it into what we've got right here. Just sort of like a bunch of storage with timbered tiles with a fence and timbered brick outline. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Although I wanted to approach this bit. So we'll probably want to get some miners done. I kind of like the idea of it sort of digging into the land a little bit further across the side here. This is like a nice little road, so it's going to sort of help to differentiate their normal roads to the actual sort of storage center that we have right here. So what we're going to do is we're probably just going to mine this up. We're going to be sort of working on a bunch of random stuff, really. I've no real direction, but like I said, I primarily want to get the base layer of some houses near the stonemasons done first, because I think that'll look quite nice. So we're just going to go across like this and get some storage done. We need more storage anyway, so I think it's a good idea to have this as an aesthetical thing. And then we can go across like this. There we are. Then we can get some roads sorted out. I was going to do the same thing here, but I think I'd rather just have a nice little sort of house here. The problem we have with our housing right now is that I can't really do any houses that are going in a diagonal direction. I really would like to, but the roof just wouldn't work otherwise, so we really have to just go with the sort of traditional horizontal approach. And straight line horizontal approach with our constructions. We can give it a bit of shape like we've done right here. What I'm probably going to end up doing with the buildings is exactly what I've done right here, which is to go out by 1 block on the second floor. Although, I think the second floor is going to be a little bit smaller. I think that's a good idea. And obviously, they're all going to have their own chimneys. Of course, they're going to have their own chimneys right there. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a very good thing. As for mining, I'm getting a lot of mining done because we didn't have much stone. And we're sort of slowly running out of materials. In fact, we can actually start our stonemasons with some proper work done. Well, we can actually get them to start doing some proper work. So make like 2,000 stone. We still need stone because we need to make timbered brick and brick for our walls. So there's still quite a lot left to do in that regard. We were just attacked actually by like a absolutely giant swarm of skeletons. 3 of them spawned in quick succession, like 3 armies. We had like 7 of them spawn over here, another 7 spawned there, and then another bunch just spawned in this direction. It was horrible. We got rid of them very quickly though. In fact, to the point where I was so full of myself, I just got 1 person to go deal with it. It was quite awesome. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get anywhere near as much done with the castle on the live stream as I was hoping. Basically, the Stonemasons Guild was a request that I actually loved the idea of. So I pretty much just tunnel visioned creating this for the entire stream. I did get the doors done for the most part. There's still some inside doors to be done. Also, I think I screwed up right here with this. I made some studded doors accidentally, but I actually quite like them. So I'm probably just going to keep them there. The only thing I did do with the castle when it came to block building was the inside of the hall. We created some nice archways and then some crenellations on the top that you can actually see on the inside of the hall right there. If you looked at the live stream video, I did a little walk around, the live stream highlights video. I did a little walk around, so you should be able to see that from an adventure mode perspective if you look at that video. But it's quite nice looking on the inside here. Actually, we need to get rid of all the scaffolding. I just realised this. It's quite the eyesore. There we are. Probably would have looked a lot better if we got rid of the scaffolding. Also, we need some proper doors along here. I just realised that. We don't really have the resources. Actually, no, our resources aren't really too bad. I kind of want to keep them, though. Oh, ow. Parrot. It went down my leg, and it was quite painful when his claws were, like, digging into my foot. My bare feet, right there. Terrible feeling. Sensitive. There, sensitive. That's what it is. Right, you know what? We're just going to go in and make some dungeon doors right here. Do we really want to designate this as the hall? Because, I mean, it makes sense, but it's strange to me. Because I just like the marketplace to be the hall. Because that's where trading is going to happen, right? We need a tavern as well. Where are we going to put the tavern? I still need to do some proper designations with our buildings. I kind of like the tavern of being slightly out of the way, but close enough to the town centre. Maybe having it here, but like I said, maybe too far away. But, or maybe here. Yeah, this might be a pretty good spot for our tavern, actually. Although it's going to have a diagonal connection, which isn't great. But I mean, it's a big enough spot, and it's connected to the marketplace. So it might be a good idea. Got all our lumberjacks right here chopping down a ton of wood. We have like a giant forest here now. Loads of trees seem to be sprouting out of nowhere. I don't remember any of these trees. I only remember the giant forest that we made, so I'm not sure if maybe trees have like a spread mechanic that I'm just not being paying attention to. Speaking of trees, we have our orchard right here that needs cutting down. It's not really an orchard, is it? I think an orchard is like a fruit tree, and you just gather the fruits from the trees. You don't really chop the trees down for wood. I don't think that's what an orchard is. Let's get this bit done. I want to see this finished. So let's see. Timid brick. I said blick right there. It was fantastic. Let's make sure there's like a proper connection right there. And then we can go along like this. The problem with making fences here will be that we need to do this with them. That's going to be very awkward. I mean, really... That's going to be very strange, actually. Maybe we just wall this bit off. We go across like this. Just keep going. We need to do the same right here. I'm playing in an awkward mode right now, so... I just go across. I probably sound a little bit parched. We did a live stream for 4 hours last night, so I think my voice is a little bit... wounding. Wounding? Is that right? I think that's right. It sounds right. Wounding. I kind of want these corners to be chopped off as well. There you go. I want it to be properly connected. In fact, if I'm doing that, then I should really just sort of go balls to the wall with it. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we are. Just keep them connected. No diagonal connections. There we are. Do we want them to do this? Well, we want to have some pavestone grey right here. So let's go to our flooring. Mo is like running around the room today. He's on a little adventure. It's great. Okay, so it's doing this. Let's have it open out right here. And then we can have ourselves the timid brick right here. There we are. And then in the center, we can have some of these tiles that we have. Because I think they look quite nice. They look like the kind of material you would see have things... Well, it looks like things would be stacked on top of them, really. It looks quite messy, and I like that. Apparently there's a spider that's been spotted by Fier right there. Now... there is one more person as well. I just forgot about that. There's one more person to be named, but I think it's going to be quite hard to find them. So it might be Wade Dryden, but he's level 20 stonemason. So I don't think it is him. And also he's got 2 names, and it just sounds like someone that we've named before. I do apologise if I can't remember people's names. Nothing personal. I just have a terrible memory. Colby, yeah, you sound familiar. Finette, yep. Well, I think Finette was someone that... Finette sounds like a randomly generated name. I can't see anything on there. Dantos, yep. Claire, yeah, I think so. Ooh, no, yeah, level 20. Carl White, right there, is our designated archer for the realm. We might get another archer. We might give Lucas Hell a chance as an archer. Benedict, Anna. There we go, Anna, there we go. I always say things twice. It's very annoying. So let's go ahead and change Anna to... Who else is on the list? Let's see. Anatok. Antioch, even. Sorry if I'm being quiet. I'm just making sure I'm spelling it correctly. Antioch, there we go. He requested to be a soldier, but he doesn't really mind. We don't need any soldiers, I'm afraid, Antioch. However, if we find that maybe extra soldiers is worthwhile, for instance, when the new update comes out, then we'll probably turn you into a new soldier. So for now, we'll just keep you as a miner, since I think it makes sense. Now, I do apologize, Lucas, if you wanted to be named. Don't worry, there are still 6 more places to go, so we might get a new person. We can name you after that person. Our lumberjacks are just sort of running around right now. Do we want the archer to be on top of the wall, or do we just want them to sort of hang around this gatehouse? I think they should hang around the gatehouse. If we need to get some storage done, actually. Well, not storage, we need to get some guard posts. Oh, no, we do. There you go, 3 guards. We can do the same along here. There you go, there's already 3 guards there. So the archer should already sort of be going in the appropriate direction. If we jump toward them... Wait, we don't have an archer. Did I actually change them to an archer class? Oh, there we go. Sniper should really be the archer. He was last time. Okay, wait. So we need to find Chris White again, because for some reason he didn't turn into an archer. No, he did. What? Why wasn't he popping up on the list? I don't... Anyway. Alright, Chris White. Where are you right now? Are you hanging around? You sleeping? Wow. Oh, no, I guess you're not standing at guard position. There we go. You currently don't have anything in your inventory, which I suppose makes sense, because we need to actually tell you to wield stuff. So let's have a high-quality arrows. There you go. 5 of those. And maybe no fire arrows, because that might go in the wrong direction. Then have a bow. Do we need him to have any gear? I suppose, yeah. Some like light gear. Light chest, light helm, light boots. Maybe heavy boots. I'm not sure how that works. But we probably need to get him some sort of cool stuff. I don't think we have any bows. We haven't used an archer in ever, I think, for this playthrough, so... Oh, no, yeah, we've got one. We've got a compound bow. Actually, we have 3 longbows, so I guess we were using an archer at one point. We need to make them more arrows, though, I feel. Yeah, we just got, like, some low-quality stone arrows. We could probably make some broadhead arrows. Yeah, we can use, like, these solid ingots right here to make 4 each. We need a carpenter for that. We have definitely got the feathers for it. We've got loads of feathers. That is fantastic. I remember back in the day when we were just... There was no feathers to be found, ever. It was weird, not fantastic. I was about to say the opposite of how I felt about the situation. So we can make 12 broadhead arrows. And I don't mind using up the iron. Speaking of iron, actually, we've been doing a lot of mining, so I feel like we might have a decent amount of materials to make some more stuff. Yep, we can make, what, 12? No, we can make 11 more iron ore right there. And can we make any more of these stand ingots? We can't, but we might have some more stand ingots to make stuff with. We can. We can make 2 out of the scrap metal they have right there. I think you get scrap metal from orcs. Not orcs, goblins. They should add orcs to this. That makes sense. Right, and with this, we've got 27, so we can make, what, 14? 13. Right, that's not bad. And then we can turn them into solid ingots at some point. Islay, I think, is our designated blacksmith right now, so it should be fine. Yep, she is. She was in adventure mode previously, so I wanted to make sure she wasn't doing, like, nothing. The mining situation right here is pretty good, although we want to get all of these sort of materials that are currently on the floor. We can replace them with stone later on. There we are. There's just a lot of iron hanging around. I'm not sure if you get multiple iron ores from one vein. I believe we actually tried to test this at one point, and we proved it to be the case, where there was a chance of you getting more than just 1 iron ore. In fact, we can double check. Ah, we missed it. So he's got 4 iron right now. 1 coal from that. I'm not sure if it's the same with coal. Look at all the ores he's got. Yeah, look, he got multiple stacks of coal from that. So I believe it does work that way, which is very good for us. Although it's quite random. Not sure if maybe it's based on level. It'd be great if it was. There we are. Get that coal right there. I think we're good along here. Some tin. We need to start selling tin. We have so much of it. But we don't have any merchants coming in anymore for some reason. We can just sort of cheat one in, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. Tell you what, we should do a little check. Check for any enemies. What do we have right now? We have a few spiders. A lack of matriarchs, actually, which is really good for us. But I mean, last stream we had a necromancer. It's been, what, 20 days or something? More than that? Since we had our last matriarch. Actually, it's definitely more than that. We haven't had a matriarch since the construction of this castle, I believe. When it, like, sort of slipped past enemy lines and was just inside our castle somehow. Not enemy lines, it slipped past our lines. We're not the enemy here, okay? They are. We're not constructing anything right now because we don't have any builders. I'm sort of waiting for our miners to get their jobs done. And then we can start doing some cool building. There's a spider right there who has slipped past our own lines. There's a bunch of sort of dead spiders around. They're quite weird. Be quite creepy if that's how it works in real life. I imagine it does in Australia, but not here. Not in jolly old England. You might see some dead. Okay, so they're not called. I'm not some small spider, like very long-legged spiders. Okay, there's a controversy, ladies and gentlemen, between calling them daddy long-legs and dragonflies. There is a controversy. People keep telling me the opposite things. People keep saying it different ways, other ways. I say it another way, they say it a different way. It's really confusing because people keep changing their bloody minds. I imagine there's an actual way. There's an actual word for them, though. One of them has to be correct, right? Or none of them, maybe. Okay. So really, no, one of them can't be correct if there's a chance for one of them to not be correct. Do we need to put anything up here? Do we need like a special house? These houses are going to be quite small in comparison. In fact, if I just... let's see, if I were to... what am I trying to say? If I were to give you an example. If you detach this building and just have this house right here with this roof, and just imagine it's doing like the same thing on this side, the walls on there. This is what a normal house size would be. Probably a bit smaller though. I think the roof would be a little lower down, probably by 1 block. That makes sense to me. Just because I don't want it to be overhanging this building too much. And I want them to be tall, and a representative of a house. But not representing anything other than the house. And I think that's usually going to... For me, it's going to be based on height. Or maybe roof type. But I kind of want to just use the wooden roof. And then if there's anything specific, like, you know, the engineers right here, we can use the ceramic roof. And as for the... Actually, that's not ceramic roof, is it? Yeah, that's ceramic tiles. Oh, that's ceramic tiles. Okay, this is ceramic roof right here that we have for our little wheels and our battering ram. Sure, that's what it is. I still look at this, and I still love it. Although it was a very long time ago since we constructed it, which is very weird for me to say. But I think it's fantastic. Do we want to go for the same design, like full timber, mixed with umber brick? I don't think so. I think for the houses, we probably want to go for the first layer, being umber brick, but then have that connected up with timbered brick. There's going to be the tiles going up, and then we can just use full timber. I kind of want the houses to be quite wooden, primarily, especially for the roofs. You know, not stone or anything like that. We want a little bit. You know, I want some at the base layer just because I feel like it would make sense. But I don't want the whole thing covered in stone, because then it might sort of limit our design choices with making some more important buildings. I'm looking forward to making the blacksmiths, though, but that might be a live stream effort, because I'm probably going to be spending a little while making this. If anything, I feel like the blacksmiths is important enough for me to do another Minecraft build with it, just to see what it's going to do. Similar to what we did with the castle. Oh, it's so good to see the castle that's completed. It's not fully completed, and we've still got the inside to do, but look at that. It wasn't there a few months ago, and now it is, and it's beautiful. We're going to actually start seeing the town flourish into a beautiful heaven, or haven, not heaven. Beautiful haven of humanity. It's fantastic. Some lighting bugs over there. Looks really weird. Is that lighting? What the hell's going on there? Let's take that off. Right, very strange. We actually blocked this bit off with umber brick because I was just getting annoyed at wolves coming over and destroying our stuff. Speaking of wolves, the opposite of wolves are, of course, spiders. This is known to the human biological encyclopedia of wolves versus spiders. Wolves versus spiders. That sounds like a really bad, like, B movie. That's fantastic. Wolves versus spiders. It'll be like Sharknado, that kind of thing. Or like all those terrible monster movies. I like the idea of that. So these guys are pretty much good to go. There is some iron here, though. Let's mine that up. There we are. I always love doing the bit of mining in this game. It's really cool looking. They did a very good job, especially with the textures. It just feels rewarding to see a piece of iron. You just see it and you're like, yeah, get that iron. It would be nice to have a sort of lower down mineable layer. And also, I would like it if they did the whole dungeon randomly spawn thing like they did with Towns. You know that horrible game a very long time ago that was actually pretty good during the alpha, but then they horribly screwed it up with a terrible build system that they created. It was really bad. It was good in alpha. I very much enjoyed it in alpha, but it just went downhill very quickly. I'm not sure why, but well, I know why. The design choices, that's why. At least that's my personal reason for why that game was bad. Poorly optimized as well. You'd thought it'd been improved, but no, it just got worse. Very strange. They released it in an unfinished state, basically, and it was very bad. Very, very bad. I think they tried to update it, but it never really took off. I've not played it since the Game of Peons 1 year anniversary event. What that is, though, the Game of Peons 1 week anniversary event was an idea where I'd play a new game every day for the rest of the week. I wanted to do the same thing for this year and last year, but it's really hard to find the time to play one game every day for the rest of the week. It really is. Next to impossible, really. Especially when you want to do all your normal stuff as well. You don't want to, like, skip a week worth of normal content, because that would probably annoy people. So let's go to our mining right here, and let's change them all into builders. Because we want to start getting this stuff done. Jared right now... Jared, you're going to be a builder. I think Jared has been an engineer for way too long. I think it's a good idea that we actually get him to start doing stuff. I mean, I could probably say the same thing about our miners. Not our miners, our farmers. Because they've just sort of been doing their own thing. I mean, I got Z903, which is one of the devs, to change from being a farmer to his former role, being that of the gatherer. Which I might add needs to have some sort of higher sort of game, like end game appeal right there. It really doesn't. Like maybe, I mean, I guess it kind of does, because you need the forager in order to loot the dead. So I guess there's the end game appeal right there. But you don't really get much from the dead. I would like it if you got some cool gear as well. I mean, I guess there's a chance from goblins, like scrap and that kind of thing. You can use it to make various goods. But in reality, you don't necessarily need it. Like, eventually you can cultivate animals. So you're fine there. You don't need to actually, like, kill animals and gather their stuff anymore. The enemies are so randomly spawning that you don't want a forager to be constantly there. And even then, skeletons you can't get anything from. I'm trying to look for trees right there. I was just sitting around. Want to cut more trees down, keep that wood supply high. There we are. Aye. Bird's Eye, right there. Not sponsored by Bird's Eye. Yes. I was saying stuff there, but my mind went a little bit blank. There's lots of materials down here we should probably mine up. Beautiful. In fact, we probably definitely should get that done. So we got JK right here, who's not a high enough level miner. 11 I think is good enough. And we got Sniper to do some mining. There we are. We're going to cover this up anyway. I think we need 2 miners anyway, just to correct any errors that are made. There we are. So we're going to just turn this into a storage lot. I do like the idea of the grass sort of being above ground right there. Although we do seem to have some disparity with the corner blocks that we have right here. We're not really following the design choices that I previously made. So if we do this, there we go. I don't want any diagonal connections, because I don't think they look great. Let's show designations, just so we don't get carried behind. It's one of our miners right there, Sniper, mining away. Let's just double check to see how many iron. Oh, you only got 1 iron there. 1 copper. So he got 2 silver. And from this he got 2 iron. So yeah, just wanted to specify the fact that it is different. So this goes into this timber tiles. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? So maybe we want to delete this and then make it timber tiles. We're doing some mining here, so you know what, now we can actually go ahead and Well, we're not making any more wood, so we should do that. Timber. Just make what? 1,000 wood? There we are. Or 1,000 timber. And then we can go to our design and actually get the sort of floor layer for this done. So let's see.